My name's Adele Onyango and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Hey you, welcome to episode 283 of this podcast. Thank you so much for rocking with the pod. If you are an OG member, as usual, I've got nothing but love for you. If you're new to this podcast, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is what you can expect a little later in this episode.
And I remember a date, like the last day of election, delegate election. I just sat down. I remember I have this, just in my campus politics era, I met Maina Njenga, who is a very controversial, interesting person. So when we met, I think, in first year, and we used to go as a group to say hi, and then people would go visit Raila and all that. So I decided it's risky, but let me call. So I call him, I'm telling him, Maina, you remember I told you I'm going to buy? Yes. Kwa salama, yes. Umefika wapi na elections? Nikamwambia kwenye nimefika. Naweza kakwambia in person. I don't want to say over phone. Akaniambia, I'm not in town. I'm in Nyahururu. Nikamwambia, I am coming.
That is part 2 of Jennifer's story. Hey, let me tell you, you're not ready. You're not ready for this one. I really can't wait to hear your thoughts once you've listened to the entire part 2 of her story, because I'm pretty sure you'll have them. But first things first, new family, welcome. Audio episodes like this go out every single Monday and Wednesday, very soon Fridays as well. And if you go to our website, which is legallycluelessafrica.com, you can sign up to officially join the family and get newsletters, aka letters from me, and watch our video series and our tour series. I have 2 things to share before we jump into part 2 of Jennifer's story. Part 1 is finally, see, I've waited to share this with you. This has been paining my soul. But finally, this Friday, the 16th of August, our East Africa tour begins. Not the actual tour, but we start to share it with you. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can start feeling what we were feeling when we were on the road and meeting all the wonderful Africans we met in Ethiopia, in Rwanda, and in Uganda during our East Africa tour. I'm very excited. I think we did incredible work, and I think you're really going to enjoy the places we got to see and the things we got to experience and the people, the African stories we got to collect to share with you. So step 1, right now when you hear this, please help us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. A link to it is in the show notes. And if you truly are part of this family, please share our YouTube with all your friends so that they can get ready for Friday when episode 1 goes live. Woo! Excitos. I'm so happy. My goodness. I really waited for this. Hey. You don't know. All right. Second thing is something exciting for me is happening this month. Okay. So I'm normally very open with you about my intentional healing journey, where I've reached, etc., etc. And I'm currently navigating healing my relationship with my dad, who is very much dead and has been very much dead for about 17 years. And before that, I didn't really have a relationship with him. But when I was just starting to warm up to the idea of reconciliation, having conversations with him, he was killed. I was about 18, thereabout, when my dad died. And for years, I knew I felt something was off when it came to thinking about him, but I kind of just shoved it away and pretended that since he wasn't really present in my life when he was alive, then it meant that he didn't give me any trauma. And boy, was I wrong. First and foremost, I didn't even allow myself to grieve him in death. I think part of me, because my mom was alive and they were they were divorced by this time for years. They'd been divorced by the time he died. I don't know. I think part of me felt like I shouldn't grieve him because maybe that's going to make my mom feel bad. Maybe subconsciously. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't actively grieve my dad. So I'm now currently grieving him. Another thing is, my relationship with him, as non-existent as it was towards the end, because there was, years of my life that he lived in the same house with us before him and my mom divorced, right? So yeah, that relationship has really affected how I view myself, you know, my self-esteem levels, etc. It's affected how I view men, like the type of men I actively seek. I don't want to say the type of men I'm attracted to. That's different from the type of men in the past I've actively gone for, or the things I've thought are important. So for example, because I didn't feel safe with my dad and didn't feel like a very dadly presence from him, in the past, I think I'd pick men who were very dad-like and just very overbearing, right? But in reality, as Adele, this very intentionally healing version of me, I don't like overbearing relationships. I don't like to feel like I'm suffocating. But broken me would seek that because of not getting it from my dad. Yeah. So it's crazy when I'm doing this work on myself to step back and be like, why the fuck was I picking men who are like A, B, C, D? That's not the type of man I would be attracted to. And then when doing the work in like unpacking my relationship with my dad and unpacking my father wound, I was like, yeah. There is the reason we see it now, you know? I have a serious father wound that I am trying to wade through, navigate, and heal. Like when they say daddy issues, what they mean is father wounds. I think we used to say daddy issues because we just didn't have the right terminology, but what we mean is father wounds. So I'm working on it. I'm actively really working on it. And the reason I'm excited is that finally our group therapy session that is dealing with father wounds is here. This one, I want to even tell my colleague Mercy to kind of like come for it to work so that I can come for it to attend because, hey, this one is for me. So it's going to be led by our resident therapist, Faith, who's also my personal therapist. And it's on the 24th of August at 10:30 a.m. at Kanga Studio. Tickets are 2,000 bob, and we have very limited tickets because it is group therapy, not a concert. If you want to grab your tickets, which I think let me tell you, unlocking the keys to my father wound made me jump so many chapters in my healing because I found that my father wound was responsible for creating so many of my issues. Like it was the core. So I feel like you need to attend this because it could help you with the thing that you think is not related to your quote-unquote daddy issues. Imagine they're related. Imagine, okay? So no tickets are going to be sold at the door. Grab your tickets. There's a link to that in the show notes. Or you can just go to legallycluelessafrica.com. I really hope to see you there. Take advantage of our group therapy sessions. It's you and I doing this healing thing together. So see you on the 24th of August at 10:30 a.m. So as we navigate rethinking what leadership looks like in Kenya and in the continent, I think it was really powerful for us to go back to campus politics and see just what's the madness that happens there. If you haven't listened to part 1 of Jennifer's story, please go to episode 282 and listen to that first and then come back to this, right? Because this is us following her journey to becoming the first female student president in her university. 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
But in all this, I just remember my team being very supportive. So we finally decided, all of us, in a week, we have to meet 10 delegates. You even have to meet your opponent's delegates, the one they've recruited to vie and all that. So you're meeting, there were over 100. You have to meet these people, buy lunch, talk to them nicely. Because you never know who wins, or someone who just decided to vie, but because they're from a different tribe. Because I wasn't voted by our tribe alone. I had friends who also just decided to vie, like Abala, and support me. Not because they come from my tribe, just because they believed in this cause. So you meet them, you talk to them. Oh my God, I talked and talked and talked. And the beauty about it is when you're genuine, it's very natural. It was never tiring for me to do this thing because I love it. I would meet them and I'd sell my ideas to them and ask them what do they think we should do. Also sell my experience because I've been doing this since first year. I know how to deal with that VC, He won't stress me. I can do, I think I had experience and I really, nilikuwa nimejituma. So I talked to guys. We bought lunch. Then it came during this time for now the proper campaigns where you have to have cars, you have to have supporters, reflectors, the drinks and all that. My God, I had 1,000 bob. When that is happening, in 2 days, I had 1G. And that 1,000 I was to give it the following day to buy lunch for the delegates who had a meeting that day. But through the process, what sustained me was my friends. And God just provides. Let me tell you, we'd come because I think we had a weekly budget. I'd take them to a hotel. And then my other team members would meet them in the cafeteria. So for cafeteria, I think we had a budget of 500 to 1,000. Then because I was meeting them at a hotel, I made a deal with the hotel. Told them I'm going to be buying lunch from you every day. So I need you guys to work on a budget and give me and all that. And I didn't have to pay all at once. So I could talk to my friends. I'm like, hey, Vicky, I don't have. And then a friend of mine would just send me 20 Gs, or 5. And I'm telling you, it's just the blessing of also getting to know people. As I told you, through my first year, second year, I networked with people outside school. So I had even people from Yusuf's time. I'm calling them now because, you all have to ask for help. Calling them, telling them, I'm vying for chairperson at a multimedia. I need your help. They'd be like, okay, I don't have much, but let me send you 10,000. 10,000 to me that's a whole week's campaign off my back, And that's how I survived till that day I had 1,000 bob and I'm supposed to have reflectors. I'm supposed to have cars. I'm supposed to buy, And I remember I just called my team and told them, my dear, we have to find ways. I don't know if you'll talk to your parents, but we don't have anything. We don't have the banners, and God showed up in very interesting ways. My classmates decided to get me a banner. I'm just going to class, and then my roommate called Jilo. She's like, babe, we were in class and people decided to get you a banner. I'm like, what do you mean? So her and a few of my friends got together from class and got me a banner. I called one of my friends from LA. I'm like, I don't have a car, and people show up in cars. He's like, let me see if I can send you this car. What time do you need it? And just everything aligned, and that was so beautiful. When I look back, I'm like, whatever you decide, whatever challenge you pick up, just go with it. Be delusional about it. Help will come. You will meet people who you don't know, who are not related to you, who don't owe you anything, and they're a blessing. They're supposed to be there in your life for that season. So there were so many of those in my life, and when I look back, I'm like, oh my God. Even my team, we were not friends from first year. I met them, and they aligned to the cause, because some of them went out of their way into their pockets. And this is not something that's guaranteed. So we did that, and then it went now into the major day where now we've won delegates. How many do you have? You decide, hey, amongst the ones I had, nilikuwa nimesimamisha, how many do you have? Now we're checking our numbers. We're like, we are down bad. What's going on? But we were not so badly off. It's only that for some reason, me and my team believed also that we spoke to these people with all honesty. We told them our truth. We've done all we can. This is our intention, and that's just it. There's nothing more we can do. Even if you want us to pay you billions, that should not convince you to vote for me. It should be what I give you from my heart, So on the final day, supposed to take your delegates to a place, you spend time with them the night so that they wake up and go vote for you before someone talks them out of of the plan. And I remember a date, the last day of election, delegate election, I just sat down I remember I have this, I don't know if I should mention his name. Just in my campus politics era, I met Mainanjanga, who is a very controversial, interesting person. So when we met, I think, in first year, and we used to go as a group to say hi, and then people would go visit Raila and all that. So I decided it's risky, but let me call. So I call him, I'm telling him, Maina, you remember I told you I'm going to buy? Yes. Kwa salama, yes. Umefika wapi na elections? Nikamwambia kwenye nimefika. Naweza kakwambia in person. I don't want to say over phone. Akaniambia, I'm not in town. I'm in Nyahururu. Nikamwambia, I am coming. My God, I went all the way to Nyahururu. So I got there. Akaniambia, umekuja? Nikamwambia, yes. Nikamwambia, my dear, I have done all I can. But the one part that has remained is I don't have money to buy delegates. I don't have money to buy delegates. I've done the best. I am sure I can win this. But the one part that has missed out is the finances. I don't. You know how people assume you have this funding, you go into it with funding. This is also part of the story. When you're thinking you have this dream and you already are thinking of the odds. Oh, I need money for this. You're starting a business. You're wondering, where do I get the funds? My God, just start. The funds will find you. Sometimes you don't have to have it all planned out. I have, this money put here. You just need to start. Imagine start. Just start, because I can imagine if I sat down and decided I need to have someone back me up with like a proper $1 million. Who will give you just a G like that? I'm not your child. I'm nothing to you. It's not even in their interest because their politics is outside. So we're just being delusional about it. So we are here. We are like, okay, this is the final part. Zero money. Let me tell you, you've spent money. You don't even keep track because whatever comes just gets out. I went to Maina in Nyahururu and I told him, I think I've done my best and I'm not going to leave this place if you're not backing me up. If I'm going to lose, we'll lose while we are here with you. And I'm going to stay here for 1 month and cry and then go back and do my exams. It's very interesting when you get to meet people. Social media always has so much to say about a person until you meet them. I had met him severally, but this was just almost like a one-on-one. And I remember we talked so deeply of my journey, of me as a person, and I got to also meet this person that I have different opinions about them. We talked and talked. Actually, we didn't even sleep. We talked. So the morning where I was supposed now that evening to host delegates, I'm still in Nyahururu. Just here trying to tell God, I have no other way. I've talked to everyone in Nairobi. My folks, my friends have done the best they can. This is that final, the final lap where you have to just provide a way. I have no other way. And let me tell you, it was very interesting that I think I went to bed for like an hour or two. Woke up at around 5, and he just blessed me with an amount I've never seen my whole life. He's like, you told me you're going to win, right? Take this, go and win. Oh my God, let me tell you, I was there. I didn't know whether should I cry, because oh my God, why, how? And this is how I know, like in every journey, I'm just gonna walk in it blind, because God is always going to provide a way. That is the last person anyone would expect to even fund their campaigns. People get funding from current governors. You go to Sonko, like I have a friend who was sponsored by that time the governor was Sonko, but it's also hard to access these people. So this man blesses me with an amount and I'm just like, God, I don't know, but you know what? We're actually doing this. I came back to Nairobi with so much energy. I'm calling them. I'm like, okay, have you booked the house? Have you guys called a chef? We need to prepare meals for them. We host our delegates, talk to them nicely. Until I get to Nairobi, in the evening, it's around 8. I go to my house where I'm hosting delegates, and I only have 7 people. I think there were like 60. In total, around 60 to 67. So you need half of that, which you won't. Of course, you can't get like half. We were 4 contestants, so give each like about 20. No, 20 is a lot, maybe 15. So you need about, I think I remember I needed only 22 to win. That's if I think we may win with like one vote. So I get to the house, we are 7 delegates. And these 7, they are not delegates I funded to campaign. These are the ones are my friends. They are my friends, the ones who have just been in the dark. People, no one knew who they are supporting. It's finally, some even went home. Like the one who went home was my friend. He called me, he told me I won't spend the night, but I'll go home. I'll come vote for you in the morning. There's 7 delegates. The ones that I'm worried that they're not bought are not in my house. I'm here asking people, where are my delegates? What's going on? And I just remember everyone was in panic. Even my campaign manager alikuwa ametoka, wamejump, kumepikwa. My God, there was so much food. I don't even remember where it went. So I call each of them. So some are texting me. Let me tell you, God gave me peace that night. So I called a few. They're like, I am here, but don't have to worry, you don't have to worry. Some are even texting me. They're like, hey, Mama, I'm sorry I'm not there. We were taken, but just know I'm okay. And they would even hold each other accountable. They're like, I'm here with this and that one. You don't worry. And I went to sleep. I went to bed and slept. Let me tell you, I had the most peaceful sleep. I called all of them. Then I told my team, you have nothing to worry. We've given our best. The rest is God's. Like, the tension is there. And then I also feel like this is the part where every time I'm in a crowd where everyone is tensed up, for some reason I'm always the one who's like, you know what, guys, let's chill. Let's let nature do its thing. You're at an acceptance stage where whatever happens, it's meant to happen. So we wake up at around 5, 6, and I remember walking back to school. I was dropped by a cab, walking into the gate, and I said a prayer. Just walking in, me and one of my team guys, he's called Chalo, and we were holding hands and we prayed and we were like, God, we thank you for this day. May your will be done. Just that. Went, took a shower and relaxed. So I told my team, you guys, because you are not, now the delegates, if you get a chance, come see me in the morning. I have like a little appreciation for you. Now, quote unquote, those are bribes, but I didn't feel like I wanted to bribe. I just felt like it's actually, because it wasn't something so big. Considering I knew people were being given about 20K, 30, oh my God. Imagine giving 30 people 30,000, or 20. That's a lot of money, even for just a campus person, so a campus student. So finally I go back to my room in school. Then let me tell you, the most amazing thing happened. They gathered themselves in my room. They're calling each other. Where are you? You've not left, Kwani? What's going on? And I just saw a whole crowd in my room. They're there to just assure me and tell me, yes, we didn't spend time. We are sorry you made food. Don't worry, we are aligned and all that. So I'm like, okay, I just had this to tell you guys. You all know we've done the talking. This is where it's on you now. So I give them the little appreciation and I am at peace. And I'm just at peace. I'm walking. My deputy is tensed up. His hands are sweaty. My team cannot stand. But God gave me this peace that I knew whatever the turnout is, either I won or lost, I'd still be. But for some reason, there was that confidence. Let me tell you, when something is used, you can almost like feel it, and you're not even panicking in that moment because you've put in the work, you've done what such that you're even ready to accept if it doesn't turn out the way you want it to. So yeah, we get into the room where the delegates are in. Before we got in, my deputy was, I panicked. I called my mom. So this is the other part about, I don't know if it's alignment. So my mom knows I love politics and all this. So throughout the night, they didn't sleep. They kept on calling me, okay, you've gotten here, until that time where we slept. And then in the morning, the tensions and all that, when I'm about to get in, I call my mom. I'm like, hey, mom, they just voted for us. We are going in to count. And my mom tells me, do not worry about this. Ilishaisha kitambo. God already did it. Whatever the outcome is, go in as a champion. You won. The fact that you're where you are, you already won. You do not know what this has brought out of you. And we are so proud of you. And I just remember, when your mom, it's like that warm hug you need. And I just felt so nice. I went in. They kept calling Mbogo, Mbogo, Mbogo. I'm not even counting. I'm just like, okay, God, that's a lot of Mbogo. Is it Mbogo me? Because also I think there was like a friend of mine, another contestant who had like a similar name, Makodingo or something. Yeah, so, and we won. Oh my God, it was the most beautiful thing to see. Actually, not even for me, it's for the people who believed in this cause. The delegates, the team, they were so happy. We ran, oh my God, since from around 12 till evening, just chanting and celebrating. And it was the most beautiful thing to live. And just even being the first female president for that school, it was... Let me tell you how the head of security reacted. He just looked at me and said, "You are Jennifer." It's like he didn't know me because we've been interacted before, but he just turned and went, "Oh, it's you. You are Jennifer, the first female president." Then it now hit me. Oh, yeah, it's actually me who's won. And I was so happy. And it was the most life-changing thing that happened to me. The achieving it, I don't think I can ever go back in any other projects I have in my life. Because I've seen, like, I remember working through odds that were unbeatable. Like where you're dealing with people, your contestants came with V8. It's just a guy in town. This guy during our friend's Yusuf's burial, I did T-shirts. We printed T-shirts over 2,000 for the whole campus with him. Guess who sent me free reflectors? Imagine, let me tell you, these things are lined because I just called him. I told him, like, I need reflectors, but I can afford like 100 of them. So I paid for like, was it half? Then he said, okay, let me top you up some. And he sent me more reflectors printed for free and all that. I didn't even make full payment. I didn't even finish that payment because he's just like, you know what? This is your time, and I hope you win. And I had the most colorful... I didn't get a V8. My friend was unable to bring a car, but I was carried on people's shoulder. People who believed in me. I was on their shoulders, and they never got tired. They ran around, and I remember my contestants came in big cars, but my God, my crowd has never been seen in that school, I promise. Because also just the fact... I just think like everyone came together to support me, the church in school. I think it was also like for the first time for someone who's close to church vying. You could see my faculty. I saw many friends from across all campuses, all faculties, and it was so beautiful. And then the call I got from our female DVC, she was so proud and happy. To date, I told you nowadays I work for a company where I do partnerships with unis. So I recently met her because she's been appointed the new vice chancellor. And my God, it's like the first time we met. She was so happy. She was so proud just seeing me in this role, and also me seeing her now. She's now the first female vice chancellor at MMU, and it's amazing. Now we are president. So I was the first female in MMU, but before me there was Anvuria of UN, and I think she played a very big role in terms of just her winning in University of Nairobi, gave a chance for other females in other campuses the confidence to vie. And I remember after that we linked up with her, and we were very aggressive. We had this team called UPC, University President Council, being led by us. She introduced us to other platforms because you see now she, like UN, is in has bigger capacity, and she had bigger networks. And she held our hands, and we were able to see other campuses elect female leaders, because I think by the end of my term, there were about 7 babes who vied and got it. And then just also now the bigger political space, which is the national, realizing, oh my God, we have female leaders cropping up in campuses. And then now meeting these other female leaders in parliament and mentorship and all that. It was very exciting, honestly. And being the second female also being the first in multimedia really opened opportunities for me. We were called to many interviews. We were called to mentorship programs. We worked together with female organizations to push different agendas. There's this time I held my own demonstrations in this Nairobi city to fight for a babe who was murdered in a campus in, I think, Jaramogi. She was called Macrin. May her soul rest in peace. Then we just mobilizing FIDA and all those people coming together for these causes was the most amazing part of this journey. Unfortunately, my leadership went, COVID hit the country, and that was during the term I was leading. So there was very little interaction with students, but at the same time, it put me in places I'd never imagined I would be in. Yeah. So I toured a lot. As much as we were limited, we went to Uganda. We met the student leadership from Uganda, did a few projects with them, some from Tanzania. So it also broadened my scope in terms of leadership, in terms of network. And I think basically it's what got me here, because I met a lot of, even my current employer, I met him during my campus, during my politics as a president, because they were bringing this product to students, and I thought this was the most to date, we are still impacting lives in terms of whatever product we are offering. But yeah, it always aligns, because I'm just here wondering, I'm still serving students indirectly, and I get to interact with them, because also I'm gonna buy. I'm a politician. I'm just in my not mysterious era. I feel like this part of the process, is prepping me for this bigger part. Because campus politics, I've gone through that. I've seen I've seen the game, but in a very small setup. National is different. It's very dynamic in terms of resources, political parties, your alignment, even where you come from. Because now you say I live in a county I don't originate from, but I will buy in Nairobi. I can buy in Nairobi. I'm eyeing the women rep seat, maybe 2027. If God sees us through, and if He doesn't, in His will and in His time, we're gonna be even president of this country. We are fast at something. We might as well keep up with the same energy, And I was saying, I'm in this place where I feel like it's prepping me for the bigger vision, which is leadership. Because I also just don't want to be a politician. I want to be an impactful leader. I know the game, they say we all start like this, but I feel like this process is helping me ground myself in terms of things I want to see, the changes I want to see. Now I'm actually experiencing what Kenyans are experiencing as a person. Now I feel like when I get into leadership, I want change. I want the healthcare system to be straight. Like what's so hard about giving people the right medication, making the health if we're giving this much tax, where is the value? So it helps, and I'm happy that I'm in this space, the corporate space, because also the thing about leadership, as much as I'm a politician, this side has also shown me you can lead not at the front. I don't have to be the MP or the president. I could as well be a PS, a small post that has no much light on it. Okay, it does, but the hands-on people, the people who do the job, the right people to do the job. So if I'm in a corporate space, you're given a CS position. Now you know how to handle a corporate, because that's a corporate side of government. It's not about yapping every now and then and going to screens. It's about delivering to the people.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. What a story. Let me tell you, I don't think there's been a story that has given me emotions all over the place like this one. First, I'm so glad that Jennifer got to be the first female student president at her uni, and I think the second countrywide. That's amazing. And why it's amazing, I know some people look at things like that and think, oh my goodness, is this a good thing because it's happening so late? Like we should be embarrassed as Kenya that this is happening now. For me, I look at it as it's happened, yay, and it means more doors will be open for other young Kenyan women to become student presidents in their universities. So I absolutely love that. I was just so shocked. I'm still so shocked by the level of tribalism in campus politics. I think I very naively thought it's not a thing that happens in our campuses. See, Jennifer's story has changed all of that. Like, why are we upholding this? So that really broke my heart, to be honest. I went from being super glad and then just feeling like, oh man, what is this? Now, the other thing is, I don't know what I feel about older politicians getting involved in campus politics. I feel like it's tricks. It's tricks. And the reason I'm saying I don't know what I feel is because I've never participated in campus politics. So maybe there's a part of this I'm not seeing, there's that. But my fear is that these older politicians, they never do anything without strings attached. Even if the strings get tagged 20 years later, I don't trust these guys. Because what if they come later demanding payback and the things they want you to do in return for them helping you are things that will compromise your ethics? I just don't know. I just don't trust these older politicians at all. And I feel like them being actively involved in campus politics, there is a reason for that. It's definitely a control thing. It's definitely a looking for numbers thing. And it's definitely sinister. They never do things out of goodwill. So there my antennas were like, oh, and even that guy, I don't trust him. Oh my goodness, But hey, what are your thoughts? Drop them in the comments, whatever platform you're listening to this on. I want to hear your thoughts on campus politics and older politicians meddling in it. And while you're there, give us a 5-star rating once you listen to our podcast, because I think we really deserve it. I think we're worth it. And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends. And speaking of sharing things, if you want to share your story on this podcast, there is a storyteller form. A link to that is in the show notes. Fill it out and we will get back to you. Wherever you are in the world, you're African, you have a story, we want to hear it and we want to share it with everyone. If you're in the Greater East African region, make sure you catch us on Trace FM every Monday and Wednesday at 1 p.m. and 11 p.m. Fridays at 1 p.m. Just go to traceradio.co.ke. Don't forget to grab your tickets to our upcoming group therapy session, which is on the 24th of August at 10:30 a.m. and it's all about father wounds. There's a link for you to grab your tickets in the show notes. Come through. Let's do this healing thing together. That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.